Good morning, everybody. Sending you a nice little message from an extremely hot morning. Also a very quiet morning. All I can hear out here is the lizard's tail on the red dirt. And my footsteps. The wind and the birdies. So we live in a society that values two things. And in other cultures it may be different. I'll speak from the American kind of system here. We live in a society that values appearances and knowledge. Two very tangible things. We can measure and we can understand those two things. And therefore we're able to relate to them. We're able to control them. And we're also able to navigate our lives based on those two dynamics. And we see a variety of cultural evolution moving around in those realms, most especially technology, the medical system, the beauty industry is a big one. Those are heavy hitter industries right now, aren't they? How does this relate to non-duality? Well, from that perspective of conditioning, and you didn't choose to be conditioned in this manner. It's not your fault that this is what's happening. Okay, but there is something in you that's awake to that not being a reality. To that not being things as they really are. There's this understanding that this is a manufactured understanding of life. Something in you already knows that. Something in you, what you are, is already awake to reality as it is, such as not that. So in that personal dynamic of the me, most identification will be rooted in the mind and also the body. So the two pursuits that'll be of interest for the separate me will be the physical comfort and the physical appearance of the physical body, and then the enhancement or the evolution of the mind. Those two things will determine, according to the separate me, the system's survival. Also, the quest for enlightenment, okay? Let's use the word freedom instead of enlightenment, because most of us are actually looking for freedom from those two dynamics. The dynamics of the mind and the dynamics of the body. Unfortunately, the seeking pattern is a physical and mental pattern. So we'll only know how to look for its freedom in those realms. If I know what freedom is, then I will be free. If I feel or experience freedom, then I will be free. Do you see the problem here? Do you see why seeking causes so much frustration, so many bottlenecks, and so much disappointment? And many people are going to spend their whole lives doing this. They've given up the pursuit of physical enhancements and mental enhancements, and they've transposed that same exact pattern onto the idea of freedom. Okay, freedom is not in knowledge, and freedom is not in experience. How could it be? How could it be? It's not a temporal, finite thing. That would make it not freedom. I can't tell you what it is. I can only tell you what it's not. And this differentiation is essential. This disidentification is critical when you're asking these types of questions. Who am I? What is truth? What is freedom? Okay? Because these fractured aspects of the psyche, because that's what it's done, it's splintered out from its totality and from the whole, which is what freedom is. Because it's fractured out into these liminal timelines and these liminal seeking patterns of the partner, of the health, of the job, of the perfect family, of the perfect mind, positive mind, that's a big one, right? Beautiful young body that doesn't age. That's another big one. Because it's fractured out into these dynamics, it's actually lost. It's lost. It's sleeping. It's unaware. It's unawake. So the resurrection of these deadened parts, and they are dead. They don't feel alive. That's why they're looking for freedom. The resurrection of these deadened parts comes from the differentiation of them. The ability to become conscious, awake, and aware of them. Okay, many people want to be on this non-duality path. This is what it looks like. Extreme awakeness to all aspects of oneself. Who wants to look at the dead aspects of themselves? Who wants to look at the parts of them that are decaying? Because that which is not true is going to decay on this path. Okay? It's an entry into the underworld. An entry into a graveyard of lies. Who wants to go there? You know what, I wasn't intending to make such an intense video this morning, but that's what's arising, so I'm just going to go with it. But gathering these aspects of yourself through your awakeness, through the awareness that you are, okay, which is not mind, which is not consciousness. Again, we have that differentiation. We can actually become conscious of these aspects. And what happens when we become conscious of them? They become alive. They become integrated. They return to the whole. They return to the whole. Why would we even do this? Because something is here that still feels separate. If something is here that still feels separate, you cannot use non-duality to cover that up. You have to tell the truth. I'm still suffering. I'm still separate. For many years, even me, I got into non-duality by accident. There was a deep inner recognition of reality as it is, and then I found non-duality. And so a lot of concepts started covering up this freedom that was recognized and hijacked this freedom. And so years were spent back in those mental dynamics, back in those physical dynamics. Okay, until there was an integration. So that integrative aspect, that wholeness of bringing those separate parts of you into the big picture is, I hate saying this, but I say it, it's the path. Look at me on my paths. I never know where they're going. They just go and I go and here we are. And that's how everything's happening. You know? All right. Well, here we go. Another beautiful day. Although it's hot, I shall see you soon. Take good care. Bye-bye. Also, just one quick little note, you know, the reason why it takes so much energy to work on the body and the mind is because it's going against the natural happening of the body and mind. So anytime we try to recondition the mind or to work on the body, and I'm not saying you shouldn't work on a positive mindset or join a gym, but I am saying that it's not you doing these things. And when you are there and when you are present and when you believe that you are separate and when you are taking these actions as a separate self, it's an extraordinary amount of pressure, of weight, of energy that is expended on something that's already naturally happening. So the reality is that you are not doing those things and that you are not even there. So that's just the little PS to the video. Okay, see you soon. Bye-bye.